changed from marshal to chief. And although the role has expanded, one duty has remained consistent: to ensure law and order for the citizens of Elgin.
It's time now for Fridays with the Finest, featuring Elgin's current police chief, Anna Lalley, on Elgin's hometown radio station since 1949, WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
And good morning. This is Fridays with the Finest with Chief Anna Lalley. And she got a couple of guests in here at the studio today. It's a little bit hectic in here because we did the switch over. So here we go. We're going to switch over to everybody. Let's get all the mics up. We have mics up, and now we have a picture. Go ahead, Chief. Make your introductions. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Nice weather today.
Oh, it looks like it's snowing, but you know, a little bit warmer than it was the past week, which is good. It was brutal. I mean, it's kind of like I guess we don't really expect it. We've been kind of lucky with some good weather. So
we have been getting some decent weather.
Yeah.
When I was coming in, I was saying it was like the old black and white movies. You know, how the Indians lined up and the cavalry. There was salt trucks all over the place on the Elgin O'Hare.
This morning?
Yeah, they must have.
Oh.
Well, that was at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow, well, yeah. So I'm here today. I have two guests. I'll have them introduce themselves in a minute here, but I just wanted to mention a couple things. This week, I want to just say thank you to the community for coming out for our first bagel and badges at Big Apple Bagels this week. We really appreciate the conversation with the community. It's important to, especially, there's a lot of things going on, and to just sit down and kind of just have that conversation. And people are able to ask questions. Last night, we had a community advisory board meeting. It was really good. It was a good interaction, good conversation. A lot of times people are very nervous to ask questions publicly, or to go to a city council meeting and maybe express some of their, something that's of concern, but in a low key setting where you can just sit one-on-one and have, that time with each other. So truly appreciate the community's involvement, their engagement as we, we released our business chats. So you'll see us out in businesses in the next couple weeks here as we make our way to the summer months, and really when a lot of our special events and a lot of community engagement kicks off. So thank you again to the community. I did want to mention, so this week, because it was in the newspaper, so the Civilian Review Board came back with their recommendation regarding Officer Jason Lentz. And so my only public comment will be at this time that he is still on paid administrative leave, and the process is still in motion. And part of that process is the Civilian Review Board making a recommendation to me. So if anyone is interested in how the Civilian Review Board works, this is they have been in place since about August, September of last year. This came from one of the recommendations of the police task force a couple of years ago. So if anyone is interested in what they do, how they do it, you can go on, just Google City of Elgin Civilian Review Board. On that page, you're going to see, or you can go to our transparency site, and on that page, you're going to see a lot of information in terms of the process. So they make a recommendation to me. From that point, there are still things that are in place because of union contracts, the Uniform Police Officer Disciplinary Act. There's a lot of things that still have to occur. So I wanted to make sure that right information is out there. That is just a recommendation from them that is pushed to me. Ultimately, whatever is going to happen has to follow union contracts and other type of, the proper procedure in terms when it comes to any of types of those matters. So I know that was out there. We were called by the media. I think it was Thursday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. So I just wanted to make sure people have the right information. So other than that, so I want to allow some time for these guys. So I have two guests today, and they're both recently promoted lieutenants. So I will kick it to them to introduce themselves, kind of who they are, who you are, how long you've been here, what you do, and then we'll kind of get into the bulk of questions. I think Brad, I think this is the first time that he's been on the radio show. I think Correct. Will has been here twice. I think we've decided, and each time he's enjoyed it thoroughly. He can't wait to come back. So Brad, let's start with you.
So my name's Brad Duffy, recently promoted to lieutenant, and I am in charge of the Major Investigations Division. So I grew up here in Elgin my whole life, went to the public school system in U46, and left for the military, spent some time there. And after I was done with that, I decided I wanted to be in law enforcement. My family's from, Elgin area, and my dad was a cop here for a long time. My brother's a cop. So I decided to join the police department too. I got hired by Streamwood first. So I spent about a year and a half there because I was just trying to get my foot in the door. But ultimately, I landed where I've always wanted to be, here in Elgin. So I've been here for a little over 10 years now. And yeah, I mean, I've spent some time on patrol. I was fortunate enough to get hired on the SWAT team about 10 years ago, very early on in my career. So I've been doing that ever since. I'm a team leader on that now. And I'm very fortunate with everything that, that team has provided me with the training and equipment and, just life skills in general that, it's kind of opened my eyes to. And then I spent some time in special investigations with Will when we were both officers. And, we had a great time up there and we did a lot of really good work. And then, from special investigations, I got promoted to sergeant. I moved back to the patrol division and I bounced around all three patrol ships for a while, for about 2 years or so. And then about 13 months ago, I moved up to major investigations as a sergeant. And then in a couple months ago from today, so in November, I got promoted to lieutenant, and I moved over from the sergeant of major investigations to the lieutenant's job of major investigations. So I've been had a very blessed career, and that's kind of a little bit about me.
All right, Will.
Yeah. So I've been with Elgin for a little over 18 years. I started out like most people do when they get hired, night shift patrol. So as a night shift patrol officer, I became an evidence tech. I wanted to gear my career toward the special investigations, dealing with gang enforcement. So I ended up putting in for the special investigations group now. I went up there as a tactical officer. Did some years as a tactical officer, then moved to a position of an investigator. Also while upstairs in special investigations, I was also on the SWAT team with Brad here. At some point during that time, I tested for sergeant. I got on the sergeant's list, and since I had been upstairs for more than a decade, I thought it was a good time to maybe go back to patrol and relearn how to be a patrol officer. So I left special investigations, went back to patrol on day shift as an officer, got promoted to sergeant, went to a couple shifts as a sergeant, and then tested for lieutenant. And here I am as a day shift lieutenant. Lucky me.
Well, congratulations. Both lieutenants new is a new position, correct?
Thank you.
Yes,
New promotion.
thank you.
Nice
Appreciate
work.
that.
So I think bringing people on. So, over the past couple of weeks here, I've brought on other people as they enter into their new positions in the police department. I think it's important too that the community gets to know who the future leaders are, who the leaders are now, but also the future, people that are going to have an impact in the department. It's very important that a lot of those relationships start now. Brad has been a police officer here for 11 years, you said, roughly?
11, 12. Yeah, I think 12 now.
12 years?
Yeah.
And then, Will, how long have you been here? 18. So even though that they have time as police officers, but now, being sergeants for, maybe about 2 years and maybe about a year, roughly, something like
Year and
that.
a few months, yeah.
Yeah, a year and a few months. It's a very short period of time. And then all of a sudden now you take this jump to lieutenant. And so we do have a very young police department. 65% of our officers have 5 years or less. And then the vast majority of those officers have 2 or 3 years or less. And then you have supervisors who, we have 32 supervisors, and of that group, maybe 4 or 5 of us have some significant time in a supervisory role and experience. So it's a lot of young officers, a lot of young supervisors. So inherently, you're going to have a lot of, it's a lot of learning going on. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of, making sure that people are passing their knowledge on to people, and creating a culture where it is okay to sit in a room with people and have a debrief. And if somebody is falling short on something, it's not a personal attack. It just becomes the culture, right? We're going to sit in this room and we're going to kind of have these conversations about what can we do better? How can we do it better? So as they step into these roles, they have a very small time it's very different to go from an officer to a sergeant. It's very different. That's a very hard jump. sergeant to lieutenant, not too much, right? But you do realize
You kind of
now
have the lay of the land.
you have a
as
little
far
bit of it as long as you
management
have
goes.
some time, right? But time doesn't necessarily make the person. That's truly my belief, right? Some people just have something that allows them to maybe excel a little bit further because of some of the challenges they maybe have faced or some of their experiences. So, let's talk a little bit, you guys, about just jumping from. Because you guys were only sergeants for a very small time, very
Right,
little bit of time.
yeah.
From that jump from sergeant to lieutenant, you guys have been lieutenants now for 2 months, right? Something like that, give or take.
Yeah, a couple months, yeah.
Probably feels like 20 years. But, what was surprising to you from the jump, from sergeant to lieutenant? Something that maybe you didn't really expect until you really kind of got into it. Was there something that just kind of stands out and you're like, yeah, I kind of thought that, but not until you're really in it?
I didn't realize the amount. When you're a sergeant, you're definitely still connected to the line officers, the people doing the work, and you're not necessarily doing the work with them, but you're in it with them, like on a day-to-day basis. You're showing up to their calls, you're going out on their investigations, like you're with them, and you're their boss and their leader. You're providing them guidance, but I think the shocking thing for me is the amount of like how much more removed you are from those those line officers, and like how much administrative tasks that there are, like the stuff behind the scenes that keeps everything rolling. Like that's really what I see the lieutenant position has come to be, is like I obviously provide leadership and guidance to all of them, but it really is like I'm trying to keep the machine that is the Elgin Police Department rolling, and that's everything from training for those officers, their wellness. Like there's a lot of everyone has their own life and they have their own difficulties, and some people are having family problems and everything else, and it's just an all-encompassing making sure everyone's good and they have everything that they need so that they can be the most effective police officer or detective that they possibly can be, so we can serve the community the best way we possibly can. So that's my biggest takeaway from being a lieutenant, is it's very far removed from those line officers, and it's very administratively kind of heavy.
But you still keep a connection with the officers,
Of
from what I
course.
understand.
Yeah,
but it's not as, like we're going on the calls together.
Right.
Now you're making sure the policy is right. So when they're executing their job, you're able to help it along because of your experience.
Yeah, and I think that speaks back to Chief Lalley was talking about, conducting debriefs on, larger scale, whether it's a tactical operation or it's just a larger scale investigation in general, is like you're kind of going back and you're making sure that we're following not only our policies and procedures, but are guided by our morals and ethics. Yes. And dealing with all the things that you wouldn't think that, a police supervisor has to deal with. But like a big thing for me is like the stuff behind the scenes, the family stuff, the officers going, through this problem or that problem, and ensuring that they're okay and that they can still show up to work and get what they need to get done.
That's a balance not everybody understands.
Yeah, it's a tough balance, but I feel like I'm that person that kind of has to bridge that gap between, making sure that they're okay and that they can do their job. So
excellent.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. So on patrol, I've had the opportunity to work for a lot of good patrol lieutenants, and as a sergeant, I know that everything on whatever shift you're on goes through them. So I know how the process goes. However, once you're in there, it really is it's quite a bit for every significant call, every use of force, every pursuit, every complaint, every personnel problem, to be first handled by the sergeant, and then everything gets funneled to your desk. So it has been kind of a workman's comp issues as well, employee injuries, things of that nature. So everything gets funneled from day shift patrol and then the workman's comp through my office, and it has been very administratively heavy. And it's coming because people tell you, because people are trying to prepare you to be successful where you're going. But until you're in it, you don't realize it until you're like, holy cow, I got a lot of work I got to do. So,
and I'm looking at you just for the people that are tuning in and listening. You have your body cam on, you have your radio, you're working on the shift today, you're a day shift lieutenant. So that makes you still be with them. Of course, you have your administrators, so you're going to have to remove yourself from the street for a certain amount of hours. But I would think that it eliminates that us against them. You're a department, you're whole. It's not, well, they're on the street and I'm the lieutenant. No, it's you keep that unity, so that cohesiveness, so everybody has that voice, and you keep all the voices as Lieutenant Duffy was talking.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's important. That's great.
Yes.
That is really great.
And I think that too, when they talk about like you realize now how much responsibility you have. It's very different to tell someone, and I've told people many times, you can't describe what it's like until you actually do it. And the more experiences that you do have and that you're able to share, it's easier to describe, because you're able to kind of talk about, this is the emotion that you're probably going to feel when this thing first happens, or the first time that you have to sit there and do something that may be very uncomfortable, or a lot of times, the barriers or the walls that people will encounter, it's not necessarily the problem. It's how you address it. It's how you get around the problem. So the problem is the problem. Like every day there's going to be a problem, and you just kind of expect it. It's just, okay, today it's this, tomorrow it's that. It's more of, how are you solving the problem? How are you communicating with your officers? How are you showing up to work for people? How are you, coming into the community? Are you truly doing things for, the purpose of, we want things better for the community, we want things better for the officers, and that kind of stuff. I just talked to someone the other day, and I said, 20% of, especially in a command staff or even higher level positions like lieutenants, 20% is your technical knowledge. It's, how to, both of them were on SWAT. If there's a barricaded subject right now across the street, they're just gonna be like, business as usual, go do this, go do that. It's nothing. It's very task oriented. That's the easy stuff, right? Traffic crash, or, writing a report or reviewing an officer's report. That's the very basics of police work. The 80% is the stuff that you can't, it's the intangibles. The 80% is the stuff that it's more about who you are as a person. It's more about what you believe, what you think, how you see the world outside of the Elgin Police Department.
Practicality.
Your values, people's values, or your beliefs, or whatever it is that guides you, whatever your North Star is. I think it's just, that's the part where, people are going to rely on you. They're going to count on you. If there's an issue going on, they want to make sure, okay, technically this person knows what's going on, which is good, because I need somebody to give me the answer sometimes. But the other part is how they deliver the answer. And I think that's the part that, is the first time that now they're not only leading their officers, but now they're sergeants. And so now they have to mentor. And remember, they were only sergeants for a very short period of time. So, but it doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. These are the positions that they're in. And now they're going to absolutely excel at them. And it's just, a constant, just a learning, constant pushing, constant, always asking, like, what are we doing better? How can we do it better? So with you guys, the part with your sergeants too, what was something that you guys find unique about that? Like, here you are now leading a group of people, absent the officers, because you kind of do that as sergeants. But now, now as a lieutenant to your sergeant, what is that like?
So I think it's definitely interesting, especially because, my sergeants, we were all peers. We all got the sergeants that work for me now, we all got promoted to sergeant right around the same amount of time, right around the same time, within a year or so of each other. Like our peer group kind of came up and got promoted from officer to sergeant. And I think now making that jump, like, you have to. You're talking, you're moving from that. Now we were peers to now we're, your supervisor, your leader, providing them mentorship and guidance and trying to get them to understand. And I firmly believe, like, you have to prepare the person below you to take your job while you're learning the person above you's, like the person above you's job. So that way the machine always works, right? It's always rolling, because at any point one of us could step out, but if I were to get hurt today, walking back to the police department, I want to make sure that, one of my sergeants is ready to take my spot, and there be no gap in service, no gap in leadership or mentorship. And I firmly believe that's my purpose. My purpose is to make sure that they're ready, especially because one of them is on the lieutenant's list and going to be a lieutenant here in the next year or so. So it's really important to me that I make sure that he is ready to take that job on. And I want him to learn some of the lessons that I had to learn a little bit of the harder way. And I want him to get that lesson now, so he doesn't have to go through that. You know what I mean? He's going to, jump down maybe to a patrol shift or wherever he goes, but I want him to be super successful. And I think, that it is kind of a little bit of a challenge where, your peers, you're friends with these people. One of the guy I'm talking about, Sergeant Davenport, we were in special investigations together for years. We're good friends and stuff, but making that jump now to the next level, it's definitely, it changes the dynamic of the relationship a little bit. But I think it's just, you just have to make sure you're trying to mentor them and bring them along and make sure that they're learning like everything that they need to learn so they can be successful in the future.
Mm-hmm. Will?
So
Will's deep thinker.
yeah,
there.
I'm
He's
thinking about
pondering
this
it.
one. So for me, moving up to lieutenant, as a sergeant, I know what I was doing. I know what my fellow sergeants were doing. But when you're in your role, sometimes you don't realize everything you're doing. So now that I'm a lieutenant, I'm kind of like a little step back. I get to see my sergeants on day shift, and it's just absolute appreciation for them.
Do you see yourself how you used to be, maybe, in those different sergeants?
Sure, but all of them have, their own strengths. They're better at me at some things and not at others, and we all just play well off each other. And I just have a great appreciation for them because now that I'm a step back, I can see everything a little bit more clearly and how much work they do. They're answering, going to every call, going to serious calls, not very serious calls. They're handling citizen complaints. They're dealing with personnel problems, and when they do, then they bring them to me. And it's just the day shift sergeants, I'm just very happy to be working with them because they just do so much. It's a lot of appreciation I have for them.
Yeah, and something that I hear, and we've had several of the new promotions here, it's the fact that you want to share what you have with the next officer, the next individual, so that not only do you want to nurture them, you get hurt like you mentioned, but you want advancement too, which that may not come as quick as it has been because once the top spots are filled, maybe to keep them for a while. But still in all, you always want to make sure someone can take your spot so you could be looked at for the next spot as you advance your career. But the idea that I hear through the department and with the chief's leadership is the fact that you are always all working together and sharing your knowledge. Like I say, Lieutenant Eusitis, or, when you're sitting there watching your sergeants, you're like, wow, you know what, I taught him that. Or, you know what, we did that together. And now you're seeing it at a different outlook, which is really important. Those like in a regular private life, it's no different than you were the line worker and now you're a supervisor. Where before you used to go sneak a cup of coffee and, hey, that was cool. Well, now you're the lieutenant. Now you know why you just can't always sneak that cup of coffee. One, you don't have the time. But sometimes you understand what they've been trying to tell you, exposure. So
Yeah, and I think it's important too, just when you're talking about, people with people's time, you spend your time where you want to spend it.
Right.
And so, if it's important to you, it does not matter that, okay, this person wants to have a conversation and, I've been here for 10 hours or whatever it is. It doesn't matter, right? Because you spend your time the way you want to. And, there is limited time obviously in the day, but I think if your purpose is to, really focus on, and everyone, it just depends. I always tell young sergeants, especially as soon as they get promoted, I say, you need to jump quickly. You're no longer an officer. And a lot of times people have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I kind of still want to be, those days are over. You are now a supervisor. People are now looking to you for decisions.
I still want to be on the SWAT team. Well, you're a lieutenant now.
You can still support. You can still guide. You can still have some of those friendships. You can still, that can still happen. It just adjusts, right? It's a little bit of an adjustment. And I think, for people to just say, oh my God, now these people are relying on me. They're counting on me. Everything I do, they're going to criticize me, right? People that criticize, you got to think about it. They're really they want the best for you. They're just delivering it very differently, right? It's the same thing. They're
Nice way of looking at it.
Exactly, right? It's how you view the world. They just don't know how to deliver it nicely. So, that is a big responsibility. And the first time, I just had a conversation with a sergeant the other day. They had to make it had something to do with an officer, and long and short, it was the first time that they actually have to experience this is now I had to do something that I'm a little uncomfortable with because it could impact someone's career. And, I told them, I said, this is what, I have to stop myself sometimes too, because I've been a supervisor a very long time. So for me, it's kind of just, it's business, right? It's just like, this is what it is. It's how you deliver it, always being, empathetic and sensitive and being aware of it. But, you can't dwell too much on it. And the first time that somebody does that, that is very difficult, so you can't ignore their feeling or their sentiment. You have to be like, all right, I remember that. I remember the first time I did that. And I was, all right, I can see why you see the range of emotions. You see it all in like 1 minute. They're from this to this to this. And it's kind of, you're there to just say, it'll be okay, right? You will get on the other side. It's very uncomfortable as long as you're putting the work in. And I think part of that is just having very honest conversations with people about, what is it that you want to do and where do you see yourself? And, what is the purpose of you being here? So, I always like to ask people, and I put you guys on the spot, right? So 5 years from now, I ask people this all the time, right? I teach at ECC. I ask brand new students, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Very, very often people don't think about, they're in the moment today. I got to do this. I got to do this, right? It's like, no. That's fine. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Because that's the guide of how you're going to do what you need to do. Where are you going to put yourself? Are you putting yourself in rooms where people, are you putting yourself in the rooms where people are already there where you want to be? And are you learning? So I'll put you guys, we'll go Will first. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
So this answer is going to mimic pretty much what I said in the lieutenant's interview with you, and it still holds true for me today, is I just wait for opportunities to present themselves, or I make my own opportunities, and if the timing is right and I feel a certain way about it, I will do whatever I need to do to take advantage of that opportunity. So
he's speaking like a politician.
it sounds,
He's talking in circles.
I'm not going to pretend here and say I have a
Funny,
plan.
we just walked in at that same time.
Hey, that wasn't directed at you, Steve.
I'm not going to pretend and say I have a plan, or I just see a bunch of different possibilities that are could possibly happen, and then if
You're a calculator. You like to calculate and weigh things and then move.
and then pounce
Smart.
on it if I'm interested. Yes.
Smart.
I would say 5 years from now, I would hope that I'm in the command staff. Like, that's my goal. I'm always
you.
looking to move forward. I try to put myself in those rooms, like the chief said. I try to make sure I'm having those higher conversations, and always looking to grow and learn and get better. And, I really want to affect change. Like, that's like, not that I think anything needs to change like immediately, but like, I want to be a part of,
You want your hand in it.
I want my hand in it. I want to be a part of this community. I love this. I love Elgin. I've been here my whole life, minus my military time. My kids are raised here, so I want to make this the best possible city that I can.
You're invested in the community.
I want to give everything I have to it. That's been kind of the theme of my whole life, and that's the plan that I see laid out in front of me.
This is, Chief brought up politics and the political time. They always say you want to make, is this job, did I make it better than when I found it? Like the chief, is she making this department better than when she found it? Some people take that as derogatory comment, like, oh, so you're saying the other people didn't do it good? No. You learned from all those people. You brag about the different chiefs.
I mean, I think I worked for
chiefs.
4 chiefs, I think 3 or 4 chiefs, and each one did something, right? They did something to move the organization forward, and I think that's when I retire officers, and I tell young officers this all the time. I've sat with people when they're retiring, and they sit there, and there's a lot of regret. There's a lot of, I should have done this, I should have done that. I was afraid to do this. I never spoke my true, what I felt. And it's very, that's always a constant reminder for me. Like, that is just something where it's like, it is a privilege to be in these positions. It is a privilege to be able to come here every day and to do something that people in the world never get to do once in their life. So when you sit and listen to officers and they're like, I should have done this, I should have done that, I think, it really does humble you to think, time is very short. And so we are the people right now, right here doing this. This day is never going to come again. So make the best of it. So
That's excellent.
so with that, you guys, thank you for coming on the show. You guys are going to do great. It went quick. No one called in about any, issues.
Stuff.
Yeah. So last time Will was here, someone called in. It was a whole thing. So, so yeah, everyone, I hope has a great weekend as we go off here. Any last things that you guys like to say?
No,
You don't have to.
I just appreciate, my position here, and I appreciate the community and the opportunities that this department and community has provided my family. So thank you.
And it was Major Crimes Lieutenant Brad Duffy and Lieutenant Will Eusitis on the day shift, working right now in the Elgin Police Department, both promoted to lieutenant. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Chief,
Did you have a
thank
last
for
word,
everything.
Will?
No, I just couldn't have said any better here than Lieutenant Duffy. Yeah, thank you for everything. A very lucky person, and hope to give back as much as I've got.
We appreciate all you all do.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Have
Chief.
a great weekend.
Have a great day.
Personalities behind them. If it's happening, Dino's talking about it. And bringing the spotlight is none other than the legendary Arcada Theater, located at 105 East Main Street in St. Charles. Catch dinner, drinks, and a show, all under one historic roof. So whether you're making plans or just love to know what's hot, make it a date with Dino's Night Out. Fridays, 2 to 4 p.m. on WRMN 1410 AM, or stream it live at WRMN1410.com. Dino's Night Out, powered by the Arcada Theater, where Fox Valley comes to play.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-890-5957. 800-890-5957. That's 800-890-5957.
America's First Responders Fest began as a simple idea to honor the heroes who serve our community every day. Thanks to the incredible support of the Village of Hampshire, especially Village President Mike Reed, Village Manager Jay Hedges, and Karen Stuhler. This year, that idea came to life. From local residents to small businesses, Hampshire opened its heart to America's First Responders Fest. The support was overwhelming. A true celebration of unity, gratitude, and community pride.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody, and happy Friday. I hope everyone had a good week out there. Steve Thorne here with another Community Spotlight show and a favorite word here on WRMN of late, and not that it's one from me. I got Matt laughing. I'm joined here, fortunately, with Triple M at the board. Marvelous Matt McNeil. Matt, how are you today?
I am doing good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you and everybody out there. but it is a chilly one as usual. We're putting up with this cold weather, and I just don't remember a winter where it's been this cold for so many days.
Yeah.
It's just it's starting to bug me. I'm Mr. Positive. I like positivity, but it's wearing on me. It's wearing on me, kind of like these layers.
I see. You know, I saw you got a haircut though.
I certainly
Very
did
nice.
get a haircut. Yes. Well, I had some fun comments. I grew my hair a little longer than anyone had seen. Longest I've had it in just over 25 years.
Not the longest you've had it.
Oh, my, no.
I've seen those pictures.
Yes, I had it 50 years ago. I had it long to the middle of my back, and 25 years ago, I had it almost that long, but it was a little fuller then. My forehead wasn't quite as large, and it still had blonde in it, not the white gray like now.
It happens with age. It's happening to me too. Little receding hairline.
Well,
it happens.
Count your blessings, Matt. You're only in your early 20s. And so I just thought, well, it was time. You know, I got an image to uphold, and I was able to do it for a little while, and I had some fun, and I liked it. I have to say, I liked it. If I had my druthers, if it was 10 years from now and I wasn't engaged in any profession or representation, I think I would have let it go for another year and see how it looked. Went to the Arcata last Friday night. And there was
nice.
a guy sitting in front of me that looked about 7, 8 years older than me, and his hair was about the same color as me, but a lot longer. I said, "Look, honey, look." Well, there was a lot of, and quite a few guys like that there. You know, it was a Pink Floyd type of crowd.
Yeah.
So Pink Floyd tribute band. But yes, it was time, and I've been getting some humorous comments at the city council meeting on Wednesday night. Mayor Captain said, "Who's the new kid?" Oh, so that was fun.
Nice.
But hopefully nobody bats an eyelash and gives me the cold shoulder and said, "I wanted you to keep growing it." So I'm hearing a few comments, but everybody seems okay.
That's good.
Good. Well, I'm glad you are, and everybody else out there. Well, let's move on with the show, Matt. And as I always like to say, I start out my shows with a dedication. Most often a memorial, sometimes, though, to a living person or persons or a place or even an event. Well, it's usually a memorial, and that is indeed the case today. Today's show is dedicated to the late Carolyn F. Cowper. 93 years old, she left us last week. She was born October 24th, 1932. She was a woman defined by her unwavering faith, her devotion to family, and a smile that made a friend out of every stranger. She passed away peacefully on January 23rd, 2026, surrounded by the love of her children. A life of connection and adventure, she was born in the hills of McCreary, West Virginia. She moved to the Chicago area early in life. She was a proud graduate of Gabriel High School. Then her life changed on a blind date when she met Tom Cowper. The two fell in love and married in 1952. In 1959, they moved to West Chicago, Illinois, where Carolyn would remain for 66 years. She welcomed her Aunt Louise into her home, providing her a loving place to live for over 20 years. Carolyn loved to travel. Where she ventured throughout the world, she would return with incredible stories and always a new treasure for her extensive perfume bottle collection. Where she never went, where Wherever she went, her favorite adventure were those shared with her family. She loved spending time with her grandchildren, from camping trips to Disney World to sporting events when she was cheering from the bleachers. She had quite the working career early on. She worked for Time Magazine, Jay's Potato Chips, and Montgomery Ward. She also served as a lay minister of St. Mary's Church, delivering communion to those unable to attend Mass. Once her kids were older, she began a career for over 20 years with the DuPage Board of Election Commission, serving as the assistant to the executive director. Retirement included 3 book clubs, monthly harmonica clubs, DAR, Red Hat Society lunches, silent film festivals, of which I always saw her at the Arcata Theater at their monthly silent movie night with her daughter Laurel Warren, the wife of Mike Warren. Even in her final year, she was in a choir, participated in activities, and joined some other clubs. She leaves behind her 4 children, Tom, Eileen, Laurel, and Andrea, and all of their families, and 4 grandchildren, and she was so looking forward to the birth of her first great-grandchild due this July. The visitation and service for Carolyn was yesterday at Norris Seegert Funeral Home in West Chicago. Contributions in her memory can be made to the Arcata Osho Cares, the 100th anniversary, or the Chicago Silent Film Society. Please contact me if you would like to donate in her memory. Yes, Carolyn is gone now, but will be remembered by many. May she rest in peace. Well, Matt, I know that you know Mike Warren.
Yes, Britain's
And so
Express.
this was Mike Warren's mother-in-law.
Okay.
And I went to the visitation last night in West Chicago and saw quite a few people from Elgin. And it was very nice. The service was later, but I went for a visitation thinking I would just pop in briefly and say hi to Mike and Laurel and express my sympathy. But then I was pleasantly surprised to see so many people, including some I hadn't seen in years, and some I didn't know had a connection to the family. So it was very nice, and had some nice conversations, and saw some really great pictures, some neat pictures. I always enjoy, I don't know that that's the right word, but when you're at a memorial, but they have a poster board, and they have pictures, and a lot of times they'll just have a lot of recent pictures. But in this case, they had pictures all the way up from when she was born.
That's
Early black and white pictures all throughout the 30s.
That's really cool.
And it was really neat to see all those as progression in life. And they did a real nice job. And as everyone knows, Mike Warren and his wife, Laurel, just a wonderful couple, family. And so good to Elgin. And Laurel was always with her mom at the Arcata when we went to the silent movies. Once Peach and I went over and had a photo taken of the 4 of us, Laurel and her mom and Peach and I. And it was actually included in the rolling video last night at the service.
Very nice.
So that was surprising and very humbling. So Carolyn is gone now. 93 years she made it. And she will certainly be remembered by many. And I should have told her, thank you. Thank you for bringing Laurel into the world. Well, let's move on. And, of course, we want to say get well to people out there that are struggling. Matt, for years and years, George was at the top of that list. I hadn't edited my major script. I just do little snippets here and there from the bulk part, and I changed the dedication and everything. And then all of a sudden, as I was going into it last night on my computer, it kind of touched me when I saw the get well list, and there was George. So I had to go backspace and take his name out.
Yeah.
And it added a little solemn feeling to the air and to me, needless to say. It's going to be quite a while before I can get over that one.
Yeah.
I do want to remind everyone there'll be a celebration of life for George on February 18. So you've got quite a few weeks to be prepared for that and schedule for it. February 18 is a Wednesday. That'll be at the American Legion in Elgin, and that'll be from 5 to 8. 5 to 8. Spaghetti dinner will be served at no charge, but there will be a donation box there for George's daughter. She's got a lot of expenses, and a lot of expenses that are a major challenge for her. So there's a nice picture Matt just put up of George, and there's the Celebration of Life memo. So we'll continue to post that, announce that, and promote that. Dean and I will be there making comments all night, and the mayor is confirmed to give a speech as well.
Very nice.
So get well list, as that continues, I don't really have a group of people on there. I know that our friend Cindy not only is still struggling with her shoulder, but she's still getting over the loss of her dog Jazzy. And I got to mind my P's and Q's now. The boss man, Dean, decided to sit in on us to watch me. So he's here. And actually, Dean's a little under the weather himself recently, so I hope you're feeling better, my friend. He gives me a thumbs up. And, of course, this week, Susie, she's been out ill and left a void in the morning without her high-pitched add-on to Elliot's verbose humor and Susie's little chuckle. But he did well, and of course it was, as he mentioned, I heard him mention, he felt very fortunate that he didn't have to do all the talking because he got a lot of call-ins. So that was always good. And of course, today he had some guests in the studio. But Susie, hope you're feeling better. If you're home listening, get well, and everybody looks forward to your return on Monday. All right, we'll move on from the get wells, and we'll just say hello to a couple folks. Certainly want to say hello to my dear wife at home, always listening in with a smile, and Maureen, also known as Peach, my favorite fruit in the world. And she keeps me in line and happy, and I don't know, couldn't imagine my life without her. So she's home smiling with her dog Lucy in her lap. And Lucy is never more than 2 feet away from her, no matter where she goes, whether it's in the kitchen. The only thing is, if she goes in the kitchen and uses the blender, then Lucy runs out of the room. Or if she uses the vacuum cleaner, then Lucy runs out of the room. So for any reason, if we want Lucy to run away, we know how to do it. We just got to turn on the appliances. But big dog George, he's staying inside where it's warm, although he doesn't seem to mind the cold. But he's been such a good boy. We go outside and he takes care of things very quickly, which is happy for me.
Yes.
So moving on, a couple other hellos. I want to say hi to my friends Kathy's, the Kathy's. Catherine Smith, I know that I didn't call you back yesterday. I was in a meeting when you called, and then I was in a meeting when you texted, and I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I got your message, and I'm glad you're doing well, and I will talk to you a little later today. And Kathy Newby, our friend and neighbor, and teammate. Matt, what do you think I mean by teammate, considering what's happening tonight?
Teammate.
Teammate. Tonight is the 4-person teams for Elgin Trivia.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
The one I
Almost
told you
forgot.
you should
I
try to
know.
go to.
Yes.
Next year, you're going to schedule it ahead of time
Yes.
so you don't make a, quote, pre-commitment that you can't get out of. I think it would be very good for WRMN to be at the Elgin History Museum for Elgin Trivia Night.
I probably would know some of the answers.
Oh, I'm sure you would. Well, for one thing, it's multiple choice.
Yeah.
So, you're going to, and then they give all the answers, at the end. But every team has a name.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, our name was the Wing Dingers, being from the Wing Mansion.
Yeah.
And this is so funny. I was tidying up my office about 2 weeks ago, and I found the little nameplate that we made that was on our desk, on our table last year. And last year we won first place. Our team did. We were in second place going into the bonus round question.
Very cool.
You could bet any or all of your points. And we bet all of our points, but so did another team that was ahead of us. And they missed the question and we got it right.
Nice.
And I still remember the question. The question was, there was a major snowstorm years ago. Was that snowstorm in Elgin? It affected everybody and everyone in the Midwest, but certainly all of Chicagoland. Was it in 78 and 79? Was it in 79 and 80? Was it in 80 and 81? Was it in 81 and 82? Because it happened in December and January. And then, of course, we had to deal with it for another month or so.
I think I know the answer. It's 79, 80.
Matt McNeil gets it wrong.
Oh, no.
It was 78 and 79.
And my parents have talked about this before because they were in college when it happened and they had.
Well, I'll tell you why I remember. And I mentioned this then. I remembered the answer because it was 78, December 6th, the first night of the major snow. And it snowed 18 inches.
Wow.
On my birthday. And that's why I remember, because I had moved up here from Bloomington Normal to become the district manager of Apple Tree Records. But in the meantime, while I was moving up to undertake that new position, the manager of the Elgin store was dismissed. And the owner of the company says, as soon as you get here, you get your new salary, but you got to run the Elgin store. So I worked every day and night getting inventory for a week and a half. And that was the first night I went out to celebrate on my birthday. And we were out for about an hour and a half. And I was hit by a car.
Oh, gosh.
And went to the hospital. And I woke up the next day. I'd been unconscious.
Wow.
And by the time I woke up, the entire orthopedic ward was packed from accidents.
Yeah.
Because there was so much snow. And it snowed 18 inches.
Wow. That's crazy.
So I remember the date. And we won it. And we've got our little prize at home, but it'll be fun going there tonight. We got the same team, and that includes Sherry Blazier.
Yes.
First shift Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
So she's on our team, and our neighbor Kathy, and my wife and I.
Very good.
So we're going to bring our sign, the Wing Dingers.
Resurrected.
Yes, resurrected and ironically located just recently. Well, how are we doing on time, Matt?
We got about 5 minutes.
All right. Well, hi to Lorraine Frost. I know she listens in. I hope she's doing well. And Greg DeRay and his wife Judy and their friend and former boss, Steve Herod, and his dog Lexi. So I've heard from Greg recently, and so hopefully he's going to come out and pay us a visit soon. Long overdue. But, he listens to the station all the time.
He promotes on Tradio.
Yes, he does. I heard him. He collects those Omega watches and old bicycles. I've got a couple of bicycles that I think he'll be interested in that are in my garage with the balloon tires. They're very old ones. And so hi to anyone else out there that's tuning in. And I also want to thank Anna. She was here. And, there's a gentleman outside that appears to be looking. Is he supposed to be coming in as a guest? He just went the other way. But anyway, he's was looking up at the addresses there, Dean. Anna has got another couple police officers that are now moved up and got promoted. There's always promotions going on at the police department, and I compliment her on that. Such a good police force, and you can listen to Anna's show. Make sure you always tune into Anna's show. If there's anyone out there that happens to tune in at 9:30, you should tune in at 9. Tune in at 9 and listen to what's going on in the law enforcement arena in Elgin. We're so lucky to have Anna at the helm. And she's always at the city council meetings. Hey, speaking of what we're fortunate to have in Elgin, Elgin Senior Services. So the Senior Services of Elgin, they do so much for Elgin. Someone, again, mentioned to me, oh, do they have crafts and play bingo there? It's amazing to me that people just gravitate to that thought and they think that's what a senior center does. It's only about 5% of what happens there. 5%. That's 95% other activities. You know what the other activities are? Helping seniors and their families that need assistance in one way or another for their life. Whether they have issues, whether they have problems, whether they have challenges, whether they have questions, concerns, needs. Sometimes they can't get along. They also have free tax service. You have to call to make an appointment. It'll be starting in February, but it's free. If you're 62 or older, you can get your taxes done for free by the senior services. And they're tax people that come in and they volunteer.
Very nice.
So you can call in and get your taxes done. I've taken Catherine Smith there for a number of years, and they do her taxes. And she's always happy with them because she always gets a return.
That's always nice.
Yes, that's always nice. I never get a return. I always owe. But Senior Services has information and assistance. They have abuse programs, and abuse can be a lot of ways. What if you've got a grandchild that you realize has been taking money from your checking account, from grandma's checking account? That's financial exploitation. How do you address it? Maybe they're worried to call them out. They can get consultation. So many different things. And what if all of a sudden they can't get along, but they don't know where to turn, where to go? What should we do? Mom needs to go somewhere. Who do you recommend? All these things they will help you with. So Senior Services Associates in Elgin, helping your loved ones today and you tomorrow. That's their motto. Their number, 847-741-0404. They promote a lot of other activities too, and one of them is the importance of seniors having companionship, and even if the companionship is animals. Anderson Humane, they have a fostering program where you don't have to adopt it, but you keep the animal, house the animal, love the animal, and receive love from the animal. But Anderson pays for all the bills.
Very good.
Well, that brings us to the end of the program. Make sure you go out and support some of those non-for-profits. Lots of fish fry dinners going on around the city, and they do a lot for so many others. Did you know the Owls Club gives 10% of their monthly intake to a local charity every month? That brings us to the end of the show today. I'm glad you tuned in, everybody. I wish you a peach of a weekend. Stay in, stay warm, check on your loved ones, and we'll see you next week on the Community Spotlight.